Oh, they added them. Yeah, that's right. They added them. That's good. Rose, are you going to be in here?
Yes, I'm going to be in here.
Good.
Do I need to watch something for you?
Yeah, if you could, if you want to sit on this side, just make sure nothing goes bonkers on this, and just
and
IM me.
If bonkers, just ping
yeah,
you?
ping me on Facebook or wherever.
Yeah, Facebook.
Thank you. Otherwise, it should just run itself, but just to make sure.
Oh, fudge. I need my adapter.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Oh, je vais avoir.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm going to go to the other room and film the other room.
I hope it will still be open at 10. Do you know the food will still be open at 1? 2. Good.
I think I'm going to go grab some lunch. Things.
I'm fine. I fetched a bit of a cold and it's no weeks.
How old are you?
Nose.
Cold, okay.
Cold. Okay. Max, do you want any water?
Oh no, it's good. There's more people?
Yes. I think they struggle with organization. There's so much knowledge about how to organize such a conference, the key convention and Wikimedia conference, and they wanted to do it all. And ask people.
I mean, the C meeting was also like packed until 10 p.m. But it was more informal. And even the food, same thing.
Just bring back the dishes. Yeah.
Some of them have the it's not too convenient to go there. It's not attached.
We have problems?
You can put them on the table.
We can.
Everybody can use them.
Ça va bien.
Yeah, it's sufficient.
Okay, 2 minutes into.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we can start.
Is it working? Yes. Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Maxime. I'm the project leader on the project Inventaire. And I will tell you a bit the story of this project and how we build Wikidata-centered, linked open, contributive database on resources starting on books.
Just a short question. Everyone found the Etherpad to take notes for others? Do you know where the Etherpad is?
I can do that.
You can do it. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Just,
Thank you.
Just give me the address. It's on the session. It's on the session. And we are recorded, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wikidatacon minus Inventaire.
Okay, a few links to follow the project. There is, you can find at news.inventaire.io. We have monthly updates on what is happening on the project. Twitter, inventaire_io, and with dev, with more technical news, and hashtag inventaire.io without any punctuation or anything, and also on Facebook. The project has two pillars: the book sharing web app, we will see all of this, and the open data on resources part. But those two aspects participate of the same mission, that is mapping resources with lib software and open knowledge, starting with books. And so this is a few words on the organization. So 3 years of figuratively working in a garage, so like mostly just trying to make it happen. And now with Vinsuise, we are starting to work on structuring a non-profit structure, Association Loi 1900, so in French, right? Thinking of this project as a public service of private initiative. And small history of the project. Oh, or maybe we should just have a look to. So just a show of hands, who has been on this page already? Who knows already about the project? A few people. And who discovers this project completely? Okay, so we'll say a few things about this project. So this is the front page, and this is in French, but we can switch in English. Okay, and so that's what we send to the whole world. It's the web application about keeping an inventory of your books, sharing this inventory with your friends and communities, and remembering who you lend or borrow the books from. And so that's the web app side, web app pillar. And so we can see some books there. And yeah, all sorts of links in the footer. And so when you're connected, it looks like this. You have books from your network. And you have your network. You can see, for instance, Ben's books, and you can send a request if you want to borrow the book. And where it's interesting to this conference is that behind this web application there is structured data on books centered around Wikidata. So you can see here that this is a work, and this is something you can find there. So all of this is based on Wikidata. So the organization, we went through this. A few historical points, 5 seconds. So Inventaire.io is online since January 2015. It was really ugly at the time, a lot of things to do. So 2016 was rebuilding the whole database, and to make it work better with Wikidata, and to have actually an internal database on books to complete Wikidata where it's missing things, and without just throwing users at Wikidata. Like if the book is not there, add it to Wikidata was not an option. So that was 2016. 2017 we have done those. So documented API, you can find it at api.inventaire.io, and especially you might be interested in the entities section, where you will have all sort of actions. Since yesterday, we have new line delimited JSON and turtle dumps that you can find at dumps.inventaire.io in a very shiny way. But yeah, you just want the raw data. And we are working, well, it's in the process of being online, more or less, entities popularity scores. And that's the reason we are doing so pretty much one Sparkle request per second to the query endpoint for a few days. Well, we will talk about that later. A few projections on the future. So now that we have a turtle dump, we could expect Sparkle federations. We are working on book reviews that could be also, so you could find book reviews from Wikidata identifiers from the API and things like that. That could be some things happening in 2017. And then some ideas for the future, 2018, connecting to libraries and bookshops inventory so that you know all the books that are nearby that you may want to buy, borrow, or get for free, I don't know. But so connecting to all the possibilities to get books. And some ideas for further future. In 2021, POTUS, President of the United States, Lawrence Lessig declares that all data resources should be open. And Amazon goes bankrupt because of Inventaire's sharing all the books. Woohoo! Yay! We'll see how it happens. Web App Tour. So we have started this part. You have seen already the inventories. You have different possibilities to add books to your inventory. So either by searching, and now we have this search bar, so you can Stefan Zweig. You can find things, and well, this is all the results you get, but you can also see by sections if it's a book, if it's an author you're looking for, a series, a user, a group, or a subject, and we will come back to that later. Book scanner, you can scan the barcodes on your books to find which edition they are into, and imports. We have a few imports possible. Connecting to other people, searching, or you can search for in the currently in the application, invite them more by email, or find people nearby by a map. And pretty much the same is possible for groups. Maybe we should talk about groups for a second. So you have the possibility to create groups of people where you will share all your books. So this is the group of the hackerspace where I'm in Lyon. So we are 26 members sharing 500 books. And yeah, it's really nice when you have a hackerspace or places where there is a common subject. You can see books from people on those very specific subjects and borrow to them instead of looking endlessly in libraries because they don't have them, because it's specialized books. Even if for there it's mostly science fiction, but it's really nice too. Yes. And so you can find books from your friends, your groups, and you can also see what people nearby have. Well, here it happens to be the same person that is nearby and in the group, but that happens. Transactions, so quick look on this. So when you make a request, it starts a conversation, and you can see like a timeline of the requests and know where it's still at the moment, like if it's still pending that you should return it or something like that. And now gets to the more, well, let's dig in the data side, entities. So just a small note on vocabulary. Like it was 3 years of a very intense learning process, and so we made maybe a mistake in the lexic that might be confusing sometimes. We call entities what Wikidata calls items, and we call items what people have in their inventories. So those are items that are linked to what we call entities. So work and editions, etc. Just this small note. And so here, so we have, oh, maybe we could see the entities map on that. Yes. For those who are at Wiki site, you got to be familiar. This is a sport look at what Inventaire covers and what it takes from Wikidata. So you can see that Wikidata knows quite a lot about authors, series, subjects, works, but it's quite missing on editions. Yes, that's a euphemism. And it doesn't know anything about the objects. Like, it doesn't want to know about the individual objects. That's the role of Inventaire. Getting to link those physical objects to their editions, their works, and all the entities that are related. And to do that, we have now, so the data editor. So as we don't rely just on Wikidata, we need to have our internal data editor, which looks like this, which might be somewhat familiar to Wikidata users, because you have properties, and then you have the possibility to add more. Like, let's say it's a bilingual edition, you could say it's English and French. And you may notice that at the difference of Wikidata, and we will talk more about that, we have the possibility to tailor the results to the properties we are talking about. Like, you can't say that this edition language is the Everest or anything like this. It doesn't work, because we tailor the results to just be what it can be. Like, we integrate the constraints in the suggester, the property suggester. And since Wikimedia Hackathon in Vienna, we have this possibility. When you connected your account to Wikidata, you can edit entities from Inventaire, and that will update them in Wikidata. So here we have this book by Stefan Zweig about Magellan, the navigator, explorator, and there are data missing. So from the French Wikipedia article, we can see that the publication date is 1938. So let's add this. Genre is a biography. So again, we have the filter here. We have just the suggestions are entities that got identified as possible genre by Sparkle requests. So let's say biography, and main subject Magellan. Yes. And so now we have the possibility to see. So, well, here it linked us to Magellan the person, thinking that as it's a human, it might be an author. That's a problem we have. We can't know which humans are authors or which are not. But here we were more interested actually as Magellan as a subject. And, well, there is no link now. That's part of the things we have to work on. But if you do this trick, you can see Magellan as a subject and see that there are two books about Magellan, one by Stefan Zweig and one by Fernando Pessoa. And yes, that's something that is quite recent. There are still things to work around on this, but basically we can now, that's one of the big things of 2017, we can now list books by sort of simplified claims, but with some filters, because we don't want, for instance, you won't find movies about Magellan here. We had to filter on works. So there are a few tricks to do there. And, okay. Is it going too fast or good? Okay. And if you have any questions on, yes, we can take first a few questions. Yes.
Did you just write to Wikidata when you added something?
Oh, yes. I forgot to show that. So, yes, I'm there.
Yeah. Cool.
Can you click on like, okay, so I see the OAuth is like your app, but do you add something more than statements? That like source, it's not really doable right now, right?
Like a reference?
Yeah, like for example, this one you took from Wikipedia, so it would be great to know that this value is
Yes.
from the Wikipedia, but it's parsed by a user, like
Yes.
by you, for example.
That's the limit of the thing, is that sourcing references, qualifiers are not known in Inventaire. It's not a known concept at the moment.
Okay.
And so, yeah. That's
Another question. So when you had this type ahead, when you type and you do autocomplete,
Yes.
you basically parsed the value from the Sparkle query, or this is not like live?
It is live. We will talk about that a bit later. We have
yeah.
a subset just search engine,
Okay.
and I will come to that
But
later.
it's like it's on your backend basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, it's mixed, but we'll. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
One question.
I'm confused at a certain point. Did you or didn't you create the books in Wikidata?
When I edited,
That is, for the application to work, does the book have to be created as an item in Wikidata?
no, because we offer this application as to people who don't have who don't know about Wikidata, and so we got to be able to have to let people in the application create as many things like they want, without knowing about notoriety criteria and things like that. And so then we have the dumps that will help us to import what is meaningful to Wikidata in Wikidata, but it's left to the Wikidata community to decide what is worth of Wikidata or not.
So somebody wants to add a book to their inventory.
Yes.
That book doesn't exist in Wikidata.
Yes.
And then what happens?
So two possibilities. Either we have it in the local database, and that's the nice thing, is then we can just directly show the local results. In the case it's not there, we have to do a hack, which is a bit, the way I present it is, if we were to present no result, we would say to the user, now you have to find data about this book to add it to your inventory. Please go somewhere on the web and find those data and add it to our database. And we will lose 95% of the people there. So what we did is that we kind of automatize this part. So we look at few things we can find about this ISBN often on the web, and we create a seed, what we call a data seed. That is a small version of this entity that just allows to add it to the inventory and hoping that the community will come to clean the data and make it a more integrated, well done entity. Because often we have duplicates, we have things like that. That makes it required.
And so at the end of the process, the item still isn't on Wikidata.
No, it's
Wikidata is separate.
it's still in Inventaire database.
Okay.
But then the thing is that with the community coming to clean those data, we progressively have data that will make sense to bring to Wikidata. Because we will have people saying, oh, actually this author that was created automatically is the same as this person. And so maybe the work already exists in Wikidata, and then we can merge it. And because we didn't find it on the first time because it was on a different language, for instance, that's things that happen often. Or it's a work that is still missing in Wikidata, and we can create it in Wikidata and merge the Inventaire entity to the Wikidata entity. Okay, so now let's go a bit more. Why is the music? So the Wikidata, the entities editor, data structure, a bit of data structure. So yeah, the whole purpose of this internal database is to be sort of a backlog of what we can bring to Wikidata later. So we needed to make a data model that looks a lot like Wikidata so that we could easily import it. And so that's how it looks. Maybe we can see, or yeah. Yes. So you will have. So here it's the work actually coming from Wikidata. Well, yeah. Okay, that's. Yeah, because so we reformat the Wikidata entities in our API to have an harmonized view on the. We don't want in the client side. We don't want to too much about differences between Wikidata and Inventaire. We want those to look the same as much as possible. So here we have a Wikidata entity, Simplified. So you have the labels, descriptions, and the claims. And so we give types, and we'll come back to that later, to all the hacks it requires to give types to entities in Wikidata.